Hey y'all, this is Emmett and Dom, and this is the recap review for The Shy. This episode actually starts out with Keisha having very vivid dreams about Omari, his raggedy behind, and the things he'd been doing to her when she was being held captive by him, despite the fact that he is deceased. Y'all, she ended up waking up and not being able to really breathe, and she turned on this mantra slash recording that she's trying to use to help her breathe through things. Like, the anxiety is really high, the PTSD is there. Like, there are so many different things that are going on that I'm just like, Lord, how is this child gonna go on with life? Like, I understand that this is really new, but at the same time, I just wish that there was something more that could be done to help her. She has, of course, started going to counseling, and that's amazing, but the people at the house don't really know what to do, and it's just a lot. It's too much. So anyway, she literally screamed and everything. So while she's in the middle of trying to calm her breathing, her brother comes in, and she like, Kevin, get out of my room. And he was like, well, I heard you screaming, so I came here to see, what's going on. What can I do? And so she ain't trying to hear nothing he's talking about, told him to get out the room and all of this. So anyway, Dre and Nina are like on the beach, and they're talking, and they're just trying to have a moment to themselves to, I guess, kind of find themselves again, because as we already know, Keisha's kidnapping has really drawn a wedge between them, and they are newlyweds. So I think Kevin suggested that they go and take a run on the beach or a walk on the beach, and that's what they're trying to do. And, for right now, it seems to be working, and hopefully it will continue to work because I like them as a couple. Y'all, Emmett, his mama Jada, his baby mama, well, one of his baby mama slash girlfriends, Tiffany, and the cook, Dom, are at the restaurant, formerly known as Sonny's, cleaning it up and, trying to put their own little spin on things because it's now their restaurant. They've taken over the rent, and they're going to turn it around, and they are going to be pumping out food that is leaps and bounds better than what Sonny was throwing out there for the people to eat. They were just dealing with it because it was just there in the community. I'm just like, Lord, he over here looking at Dom's booty, Tiffany right there. I'm like, you are bold. Like, I don't understand. And his mama be peeping all of this. And I'm just like, boy. Anyway, Papa's daddy is in the pulpit, and he's basically giving Ronnie praise, and Ronnie's up there giving him praise for what he's done as far as bringing Keisha home, and has named him a hero and all this other stuff. There's this guy who stood up in the congregation and was like, he ain't no hero. And, of course, he is someone who is affiliated with one of the people who have been killed. One of the people he's killed. You know what I'm saying? He killed Coogie. And yeah, everybody tired. Like, people are not going to forget the things that he's done. And I keep telling people this. Like, I have a friend right now who I've gotten into this show, and they were trying to tell me, oh no, Ronnie's going to make a turnaround. This is going to be his redemption story. Okay. All right. But anyway, we'll get to that later. But yeah, so, they're playing him up, and then like they were in the middle of talking, and his ex, who was the woman whose child was killed first before Coogie was killed, who Ronnie thought killed her son, which didn't happen. Jason, I think is what his name was. Well, no, am I thinking of the right child? Yeah, Jason. I think is what that boy's name was. I might be saying it wrong. Y'all can write me down in the comment section of who the ex-girlfriend's son is. What's his name? Anyway, she ends up presenting him with a check from the organization that she's over. And then Doodall's wife, y'all know Candy Bird, she gets up and, she over here doing the most, talking about, oh, well, we are going to be giving you a check for $5,000 And everybody looking like, what, $5,000? Even dude, I stood up, was like, wait a minute, baby, what's going on here? And he really was trying to talk, and she did not let any of that go down. And basically, he was gonna have to come up off of that money. So whatever money she ended up getting, the ex plus the $5,000 is what Ronnie was given that day. We later on find out that Papa's daddy is backing and supporting Doodah's campaign, and I'm just like, anyway, Emmett had a moment with Tiffany, and he's trying to come up with a name for the restaurant, and everything that he's come up with has been trash so far, and she basically has let him know that. And he kind of trying to let her know that he here for her and that he loves her and want to be with her, gave her a little massage and all of that. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. So Kevin is following Keisha. Keisha left the house and she wanted to go to the store. And so she was telling him, you don't need to follow me. I'm fine. You ain't got to worry about me. Meanwhile, she starts having a panic attack because, like, all of a sudden you hear people like catcalling her, and then it's like time slows down for her. And she starts to panic, have PTSD. Breathing is very strained and strenuous, and she has to think, let me calm myself down. And it just got to a point where she was just like, she kind of got back to normal, and she went on ahead and read him and was like, I heard what you said. And he was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And she was like, I heard you. The walls are thin. And so then he knew what she was talking about, which was that he didn't want her. He kind of wished that she wouldn't come back or didn't come back. And this was after she was already back. So it's like, why would you say that? And, later on, he was like, I didn't mean that. And so she was like, yes, you did. So anyway, Doodah's wife is trying to scam up on, Doodah and his wife are trying to scam up on the mayoral candidacy, the race. And I'm just like, I don't understand why people are even buying into this. People know exactly who Doodah is and what he stands for. And I'm just like, why? Candy is really acting in this role. I don't care what nobody got to say. People love to talk about how slow she speaks and all this other stuff, and they always trying to read her, but she is acting in this role. I don't care what nobody says. She really is showing out in this role, in my opinion. I don't know what y'all think. Y'all let me know down in the comment section what y'all think about Candy's acting. Anyway, but like I said before, the pastor ended up endorsing Doodah. Otis, whatever you want to call him, but Doodah is what I'm going to call him. So Ronnie has decided that he's going to take the money and go to Springfield, where his friends left the other week. And, they left and they went down there to get jobs. He wants to start over, and he feels as though he has enough money to do that. And, Papa asked him what was he going to do with the money. He was like, really, that's it? And he was like, yeah. It's like, it don't take a lot to do what you know you need to do. And, that's all I'm going to say about that. So anyway, Emmett wants to know if Dom has thought about their sexcapade. Because that's what I like to call them, sexcapades. And y'all, they apparently did the absolute most. The things they were talking about, the oral transactions. And I was just like, y'all is doing the most. Y'all is doing the most. But anyway, yeah. So she's looking at him like, apparently you thought about it way more than me. Like, I know what I need to do, and I did what I did because I liked it. Like, stop. Anyway, a crackhead was caught fleeing the scene after he tried to, and I guess he did succeed, basically, break into Trig's vehicle. And there was like a bag of drugs left behind, and I'm like, why? Was it a setup? Like, what is going on? I don't understand. Because if you're into drugs like that, if you're a druggie like that, why would you leave drugs behind? Or were you trying to break into his vehicle and the drugs were in there? I don't think Trig is that dumb to have a big old bag of white substance just in the car, in the driver's side, and his name is on the paperwork. Like, that would be dumb. I wonder what's going on. I thought that Trig and the girlfriend worked things out. Where is she? Anyway, so Dre and Nina met up at, unless I saw it wrong because it was like really quick. Y'all excuse me. I stay having eyelashes that fall into my eyes. This has been my entire life. So crazy. But anyway, they met up with the support group outside, and like this is clearly like typical Chicago weather, freezing cold, it snowed outside, and they just out there like it ain't nothing. And I'm like, I ain't trying to be nowhere where it's cold like that. But anyway, they're out there and they're having their moment. They really do seem like they're getting back to themselves, so I'm glad about that. Jada and Emmett are putting up these lights. And I knew it was coming. They plugged the lights up to make sure that they worked. And then Jada asked him, you know, what's going on between you and Dom? I noticed that y'all were arguing earlier. And so he was like, nothing, man. We were just arguing about what the name of the spot was going to be and all this other stuff. And his mama just straight out asked him, are y'all having sex? And y'all know that is not how Jada said it, but you know. And so I'm like, you know your mama know if you lying. So just fess up, sir. Why is we doing this? So he was like, look, it was just one time and I got it out of my system. And I know I'm cured now because I had sex with Dom. And I was like, what? And his mom was just looking like, bruh, I don't know who you're trying to convince, but I'm not the person who you need to be apologizing to for cheating on them. I was just like, bruh, all you do is cheat. So anyway, Ronnie, his mission this episode outside of moving to Springfield is to spread his grandmother's ashes. And he was going to go to this spot where they used to go and where they definitely met up before he went off into the military. And it was just a place that, you know, they basically would go all the time. It was a pretty place. It was a pretty spot. Looked like it was very serene. So I wouldn't mind going there to a spot that's like that. I like stuff like that. And he went and had a moment. He was actually with the ex. Basically, he's with the ex the whole day. The ex whose son got killed. With her all day. And he actually asked her, would you like to accompany me while I go and do this? And so she was like, well, she didn't like me. Y'all, excuse me. Hold on, y'all. Give me a little water. I need to get some tea, y'all. Well, drink some more tea. I've been doing well with water and tea and things like that. But yeah, been doing the most. And I haven't hydrated myself in a while. But anyway, y'all. So she was like, well, she didn't like me. And so he was like, no, I wasn't like that. And I'm like, bruh, people know. So anyway, she was off, you know, far enough away for him to do what he was going to do on his own. And he, you know, had a moment and he said a few, you know, kind words about how she was the only person who loved him and truly loved him. And he had a moment. He got on his knees, y'all. Got on his knees and like poured her ashes over into this water. So I was like, okay, then y'all done went off. Oh, Lord, y'all, Jesus, fix it. The next scene is where we see Keisha in the bathroom peeing. And I glanced one time, but then I was like, wait a minute. I had to do a double take for real because I was like, I know not. Lord, Keisha was in there taking a pregnancy test. So I'm like, why is she taking a pregnancy test? Didn't they do this at the place already? Didn't they do this at the hospital already? What is going on? But I get it. But at the same time, I was like, we just did this. What is going on here? Oh my gosh, y'all. That is what she was doing when her brother followed her. And she was like, you ain't got to go inside with me. I'm getting tampons. So he waited outside for her to come out. So when she went in there, she didn't get tampons. Or if she did that as a decoy. to be like, you know, just in case you want to try to check something a little bit, he could see that. Like, I don't know what kind of bag the stuff was in, but I'm pretty sure since it was a pregnancy test, it might have been in a good old brown paper bag. Anyway, yeah, she went to get a pregnancy test and she was in there peeing on a stick. Y'all, the parents got home. And Kevin was in the living room and they were like, where's Keisha? And he was like, she in the bathroom. Y'all, Lord, I'm tired in my spirit. She pregnant, y'all. I was just like, No. What we not finna do is this. Y'all, so anyway, Trig took Jake over to Doodah's house, and whatever they discussed, he was like, look, do what you gotta do. Don't get caught. If you think you can't, do what you need to do, then just get out. So Jake was like, I got this. Y'all, this fool was trying to get into a safe that you needed to know the combination for. So he really is just fiddling, trying to get into the safe. I don't remember if I said this earlier, but Doodah sent the wife home, and she was mad with him because she basically is heading up everything. She is the one who creates all of these statements that he makes. And there's a whole script that they go by. And he basically was like, I can take it from here. You need to go home. So she walked up on him and was like, you do know that you need to know the combination in order to get into the safe. So he feels like, dang, I done got caught. She straight up gave him the combination and walked off. And I was like, ma'am, you really mad. Okay. And then it worked. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you really done went off, ma'am. So anyway, he got whatever he needed to get out of the safe. So anyway, Ronnie was walking and talking with the ex, and they were trying to figure out a schedule of when they would be able to see the grandbaby before he leaves. And so the mama ended up texting her or calling her and was like, will this time tomorrow work after I get off work or whatever? And he was like, shoot, whatever y'all can come up with, I'll roll with it. I don't care what it is. So he's excited to see the grandbaby before he leaves. Y'all, Trig came back, and it's like nighttime now. And he has picked Jacob up, and he hands him this yellow envelope. And he looks in the envelope, and all we see is him looking into the envelope. Like they literally had a camera, like inside of the envelope. And we see Trig looking down into the envelope, like us looking right at. I was just like, okay, y'all doing the most. What is this? And so once they did that, I'm like, ain't no way it's money. Ain't no way it's money. What kind of information is this that's going on here? What kind of information is this? It has to be some juicy information. Y'all, so Kevin came by the restaurant to help Emmett set up the payment system. And, he's trying to make it so people can pay with their phones and all this other stuff, like really trying to have it technologically savvy up in there. And so Kevin was able to do that in an instant. And, he actually started asking him about the name of the restaurant. And he tried to throw a name out there. He was like, no, man, just keep it simple. It ain't that deep. So Emmett actually later on, after they'd done a little bit more cleaning up, he went home with the girlfriend, and he was watching the girlfriend and their child just there laying in a sleep. And so he got up and he left. So at first I was like, oh, you really want to go back for seconds with Dom? Is that what's going on here? But no, that's not what he was doing. He went to go and purchase an engagement ring. And I was just like, this is what we're doing. Like, you are already starting off on lies. You're building a whole relationship off lies. Y'all don't need to be together. Despite whether or not anybody wants to believe in what that woman told her, all of this stuff has come to pass. And I'm just like, you really just go sit up here and have her thinking that you're doing right by her, but you're not. Like, why is we doing this? So anyway, he went up in there, and she was like, well, how much are you trying to spend? And he was like, I got $500. She was like, what, $500? What they gonna do? You can't buy nothing with $500. And so he pointed at like this really small ring. And so he was like, well, how much do I need to pay for that? And so she was like, give me that watch you were wearing and the $500, and then you have a deal. And so he was looking like, no, I can't give you this watch. This is my cousin's watch. She was like, so? I was like, ma'am, why is we doing this? And so, she was unbothered by whatever sentimental value he felt as though that watch was going to hold for him. And she was like, if you want this ring, what you're going to do is come on up off of it. So that's what he did, and came up off the money. And I was just like, again, why are we doing this? Anyway, Dom is getting some meat smoked, and her and Tiffany have a moment where they're talking, and then Emmett, called for both of them to come outside. He's come up with the name of the place, and it's Smokey's Barbecue. Smokey as in Robinson. So I was like, okay, I live for Smokey Robinson, so I ain't mad at it. And they weren't mad at it either. Ronnie got to meet up with the grandbaby, and he was just like, how'd she get to be so smart? Oh, she's so smart. And so the mama was like, well, I actually want to get her into this gifted program, but I'm gonna have to probably take out a loan. It's too expensive. He politely went into his pocket and handed her the check. I don't know if it was the check that was from, I don't know who it was from, but he ended up handing her the money from the checks or whatever. And so he was like, well, hopefully this will help out. She done unfolded the check, and she is like shocked beyond belief. So anyway, they end up leaving out. And so the ex was like, that was a nice thing you did back there. So, Emmett is opening up this spot today. Do you want to drop by? The food is amazing. I heard the food is slamming. I heard the food is banging. They doing barbecue. So he was like, I could eat. I like good barbecue. So they ended up going to the new spot. So Keisha told Kevin to get up because she wants to go running. And he like, I don't want to go running with you. Last time I went running with you, you left me and you'll never do what you need to do so I can actually keep up with you or whatever. So he ain't here for it. So she was like, get up, put your shoes on and come running with me. So it's like, you already know at this point, you're not going to tell her no. So he ended up running. He about to have an asthma attack and died. Like he needed to do something. I was like, oh my gosh, no. So, but all this time, like she was good at first. Like she was laughing at the fact that he was yelling at her, trying to get her to slow down. Even though she was listening to the music, she could clearly hear him. So then there was a city bus that came rolling up and it's like, as soon as she saw that reminded her of the moment that she was at that bus stop. And when Omari was talking about she's filthy, she's dirty, and we actually heard the water in the tub where he was like washing her. I was done. I was like, oh my gosh, like y'all, she had that moment again. And like she completely stopped in her tracks. And she ended up just sitting on the curb, just trying to catch her breathing. And it was just to the point where when Kevin did eventually catch up with her, he came and sat next to her and he hugged her. And I thought that was an amazing embrace. She definitely needed that. So anyway, the grand opening happened. They promptly made sure everybody knew there are no refunds. Don't nobody have time for you talking about I need a refund. No, once the money exchanges hands, you ain't getting no refund. So anyway, they also told everybody, go on ahead and put your experiences on social media. And before they opened the doors, Emmett sat up here and proposed to Tiffany. And Dom kind of looking like she faking the funk. And, us as the viewers, we can tell that she's clearly a little bit bothered. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't. So anyway, Jada looking like nah, Dom looking like she ain't here for it. They eventually opened the doors up, y'all. So I'm probably saying the name wrong, but G Herb was there, and the guy who finally allowed them to get the loan or whatever, the guy who how can I think of his name? He's a comedian in real life. I can't even think of his name, but anyway, he was there. And Emmett was talking to him. He was like, man, you need to do something because they over here thinking that the food free. And he was like, man, he got all these followers. And I think he's like a boxer or rapper or whatever. I'm probably getting him mixed up with Javante. I think I'm getting them mixed up. One of them is a rapper and one is a boxer. I think I'm talking about the rapper right now. But I don't listen to him, so that's why I don't know him like that. The name has come across. I think he is the dude who K Michelle. Was that the dude who K Michelle put on blast like a couple of weeks ago, saying that he has been buying this Instagram all this expensive stuff, but he ain't doing none of the stuff he's supposed to do for the baby mamas and stuff. I don't know. I think I'm getting him mixed up with this other dude. Anyway, the dude is like a rapper in real life, if I'm not mistaken. And him and his entourage eating up all the food, and Emmett looking like, we about to run out of food. Ain't nobody got time for this. But old boy's trying to help him to understand that he has this massive following. And if he has this massive following, then you need to understand this is just a small investment. This is just going to be something that you just going to have to take as a drop in the bucket and go on about your business. So he came over to him like he was about to be like, look, bro, you're going to have to come up off some money. And once he realized what the situation was, he was like, oh, well, I thought you were going to come over here and say something to me or whatever. And, you know, he really didn't, you know, he didn't really roll up on him like that. I was like, boy, you ain't really got nothing to say. His daddy showed up. Y'all know how trash Daryl is. I was like, why are you here? Why are you here? Because I already knew he was not going to come and be actually supportive. This is Tisha number 2. Shout out to Love and Marriage Huntsville. Anyway, yeah, his dad is trash. Trig and Jake ended up stopping by Camille Harris's headquarters and dropped off the information that we saw Jake come out of the house with, and whatever is in that envelope must be damaging. Because they tried to drop it off to her, and old boy was like, whatever you're trying to give to her, you can give it to me. And I guess he's an assistant or somebody who is really close to her in her camp. And they looked into it, and he was like, to what do we owe this gift? Like, what do we have to do in exchange for this? Because this is an amazing gift that you've given us. I'm like, what kind of information is in that envelope? But Trig was like, nah, we don't need anything. Just, you know, consider this to just be a free gift. Must be some amazing dirt. Y'all, Dom and Emmett are talking, like in the kitchen while she's preparing some stuff. And his daddy ended up rolling up and flirting with Dom. And I'm just like, sir, please go somewhere and sit down. Darnell done read the size of the ring that Keisha has on. And I'm like, bruh, don't nobody want to hear your opinion on nothing. Nothing. Kevin and Papa showed up to the restaurant. All throughout this episode, it kept showing small snippets of Kevin trying to talk to Gemma, but her daddy is like, he ain't here for nothing. And it's to the point where she's like, don't send me anything because my daddy is looking at every single message and anything that I get. So it's just to the point where he done kind of stopped trying, but Papa is trying to convince him to do otherwise. He done sat up there and had somebody to spell out, I miss you. And he took a picture in front of it on one of the little picnic tables outside of the restaurant. And he posted it, she liked it, and so Papa told him to slide up in them DMs because the daddy ain't checking that. And I'm like, how you figure that? The daddy don't look that old. I'm sorry. He know about the DMs and things. He ain't much older than me, I don't think he much older than me, no. Anyway, so Keisha is now looking up information about what to expect during your first week of pregnancy, and I'm tired. Her mama walks in and sees that that's what she's looking up. And I mean, we are basically supposed to be understanding of the fact that she is going to get an abortion, but her mama wants to know if she's changed her mind at this point or what, because she's looking it up. And Keisha's like, no, I haven't changed my mind. I'm just curious. And I'm like, Lord, I don't know. Now she might keep this baby, y'all. Ronnie and the ex ended up showing up and the place was packed out. They ended up saying, you know, like Emmett kept like waving them up there. He done got people to get them to skip the line, and people are getting like in their feelings about it. He ended up ordering the food. They ate their food and all this other stuff. Y'all, Kevin, I already told y'all what Kevin did. Y'all, they done finished their food and they're leaving. They literally got off the premises and there was a dude in the street waiting. He rolled up on the both of them while they were walking and blew Ronnie's brains out. That was the end of the episode. I already knew it was coming. I knew he was going to have some kind of karma coming because of what he did. So it is what it is. Anyway, y'all, hopefully y'all enjoyed this recap review. I really do appreciate all of your love and support. Thank you for dropping by my channel. Y'all have a good night and be safe out there. Bye.